the Cardano 2025 agenda for the next 5 years, as we put it together, will contain a lot of blue ocean stuff. Where we're basically saying, okay, let's go do some really hardcore sharding research and go post Omega plus plus, and then we can bring in some of the things that Ethereum is chasing, which will be nice to basically get us to a scale of billions of users. So what Hydra can do is comfortably get us to the millions, to tens of millions, and I think that's fine. What Cardano 2025 will do is get us to the billions, and there you have to have more advanced primitives like recursive snarks or something like that. There's a lot of great research with ZK rollups that I think in about 24 months will become quite prominent. And you also have to talk about pruning, because you can't have a blockchain that's in the petabyte scale or exabyte scale. You need to have the ability to retire things. So you have to make some of these things like tokens and smart contracts economic agents that pay rent. And that's a controversial thing. And there's a lot of careful thought that has to be put into how to do that well. And that's the point of waiting for Voltaire to mature. Because there's going to be alternative ways to scale. And when you're talking about philosophical changes, you need consent of the governed.
Mm-hmm.
And then there we can present different Cardano improvement proposals, and then the community can decide which trade-off profile they want to live with. We could also chase some other technology like distributed storage, for example. There's some great stuff happening with IPFS, and Filecoin recently launched. So it's nice to follow those projects, and hopefully we can pull that kind of infrastructure in to be an alternative database, as well as some data sharding that can occur with the blockchain.
Incredible. Well, we're getting low on time, so I want to run through these questions pretty quick. The first one is, what's Cardano's marketing plan for 2021? We were waiting for us to have all of these great things that we're talking about today, and now they're coming, or they're here. So what is the marketing plan?
What's funny is people are like, when marketing? It's like, guys, we're number 5 cryptocurrency. It doesn't actually require, like, what was Ethereum's grand marketing plan? Part of it is just make sure you have a great, strong evangelistic community, and you grow through word of mouth, and that you don't lose people. So if you have low churn and high virality, you don't need to spend a single dollar on marketing. Organically, you grow and take over the whole world.
Or if you have 1,700 Stakepool operators.
Well, that's exactly right. That's virality through surrogacy.
Yeah.
Look how fast coronavirus spread. If you have the right viral factors, you could become a pandemic pretty quickly, for good or for bad. So that's one dimension of it. The other is clearly articulating the USPs and comparative analysis. That's product marketing, and that's campaign marketing. And I have a CMO now. His name is Adam Bates, and we do have a director of marketing. Her name is Lisa Horowitz. And we have been working at improving the product marketing. We have been working at improving the campaign marketing. And the foundation has also been working at improving their marketing. And when you do campaigns, it's always against a stakeholder. So, maybe one group of people are Fortune 500, maybe another group of people are people in Africa in, a particular demographic window and so forth. So I'd like to launch a few campaigns. It's just we've had persistent delays there. However, it doesn't seem to have hurt adoption. By every metric, we've had explosive growth of wallets, social mentions. Kim.com, for God's sakes, reached out to me the other day over a Twitter PM. He's like, hey, just let you know I'm watching. It's like we're getting a lot lot of mentions. We're getting a lot of things. And
with Gene Simmons and Justin Rowland, I would have never expected that. And we mentioned earlier you're coming on Lex Friedman.
Exactly. And so that's all organic. And so that's nice. But, we have to get some materials ready to go before we get that hockey stick growth, because we want to onboard people the right way. Or else it'll become untenable to manage a community of that scope and scale and size. The other thing is I'd like for Voltaire to be a little bit more evolved and stable before we get explosive community growth. So it's both a blessing and a curse. If you grow too quickly like MySpace did, you actually poison the system. If you grow too slowly, you lose that network effect and you never take off the rocket pad. So you have to grow just at the right speed, and you also have to have the right infrastructure to sustain that growth so that the people grow into a positive place. Like Lex asked me, hey, when do you want to come on the podcast? And I could have had him come up here, Colorado, in March and had the conversation. But why would I want to go on a podcast at that scale before the IOG rebrand is done and Gogan has launched and some of these Africa deals get sealed? Because in June, I can have such a deeper conversation with him and say, instead of we will do this, say we've done this. And actually show these things out, maybe write a smart contract with them or something like that. So that's the kind of stuff I can do in June that I can't quite do in March.
Yeah, so, I agree with you completely. And I often answer that question on AMAs. That's why I brought it up today. And I say the same thing.
And a lot of times when you hear that, it's like, hey, I want the price to go up. It's like, Guys, if we're talking about real, we have a long time. As I often say, the slow way is the fast way, and we're growing at an incredibly strong pace. And what's
Yeah,
nice is when people
especially the
enter our
past few
ecosystem,
months.
they don't leave. Most of the time when they come, they stay. They fall in love with the ecosystem. We have so many people who are here since the beginning in 2017. So if your churn rate is low, you have high surrogacy and high virality, you don't really need to market much. That's just going to get it done naturally, and you're going to see a hockey stick happen. And then what you can do is dedicated campaigns and good product marketing, and you get all that comparative analysis done. We need to up our infographics game. We need to up our explaining our content. And there's also a lot of pedagogy, like tutorials, videos, things. There's a great publication called Quanta that makes these beautiful videos about deep scientific topics. Like they had this 14-minute video from Quanta magazine on the Riemann hypothesis, one of the best explanations for non-mathematicians about it. So we actually reached out to them and say, hey, who are the guys who make your videos? And so we're looking into stuff like that to see if we can create a lot of really good explainer content that's highly viral and that we can get into the pipeline and launch. And that kind of stuff will come. It'll come naturally and it'll be really beautiful. And we're almost at a point where the vision is crystallizing. The other thing is there's going to be a huge, huge discussion about Cardano 2025. And that is a marketing machine because that's basically the ICO replacement. The way that we're doing Cardano 2025 is something called a DCF. And basically the idea is you get a bunch of companies together, you have this beautiful set of goals and vision and management structure, and you say, hey, community, this is how much we need to go and get it done. And then they vote on it, and it comes out of the treasury system. So if that happens, then people realize this is the new way of funding open source infrastructure development, which means I can go talk to the Linux people. I can go talk to any of these open source projects, talk about how this is an alternative when you have this model. And it's going to create a lot of imitation in space. Everybody will be like, when we did the Ethereum ICO, they were like, ICO, ICO, ICO. And we got into ICO mania. If the Cardano DCF is successful, it'll be DCF, DCF, DCS, and everybody will be doing that. So that's a huge marketing artifact as well. So I don't worry about it all. I have access to all the people I need to have access to. We can talk to millions of people if we want to talk to millions of people. There's a bit of timing, strategy, and pacing that has to be done to make that sustainable.
Yeah. Well, to close out the podcast, let's talk birds, avian stuff. I've been seeing everybody kind of go down these rabbit holes. You really send them down. It's like how people end up becoming a flat earther. They see a couple things wrong or a couple things that were hidden that they saw before, and now they're going deep. Now they're saying Elon Musk put a hard fork because of the Mary hard fork. They're talking about Twitter. They're saying a bunch of stuff, Charles. What can you tell us about the birds?
Honestly, do you think Twitter is going to partner with me when the other?
Yeah, you're not even verified. Yeah, or Elon Musk too.
Jack Dorsey follows me. We've PM'd each other over Twitter. I was like, come on, man, you know who I am. This is crazy. It's crazy. I don't even start with Twitter. I love Twitter. I hate Twitter. I have a weird relationship with Twitter. It's either going to be late this month or early next month. It's just whenever those birds land. But I have a high degree of confidence that late this month, early this month, we'll be able to announce a few very good things for the community that I think people objectively will be quite happy about. But these things I'm proud about because they're long in the making, and we've been working at them for so long. And I'm just proud that we got it done. It's one thing to have. And another thing is like bird or no bird, like look at how much Cardano has evolved in the month of February just alone. So it's like, come on, guys. But I don't care too much about the price. In fact, I often make videos saying, it's a red herring. Don't think about it. It's nice when you reach certain milestones, like $1. Yeah. I had that RoboCop video waiting for 4 years. I'd buy that for $1. I had that waiting for 4 years. I was like, when it hits $1, I'm going to play this video. It's gonna be a moment. I'm going to enjoy this moment. God damn it!
Yeah,
don't take this from me, Pay.
For the past year, that's what I've been saying. Everyone always asks me about price. So like, I'm not giving a price prediction. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And then finally, for $1, I was like, all right, I'll give you guys a price prediction.
Exactly. You got to celebrate that. That's something, because also it means the security level is ridiculous. You have to have $17 billion to attack Cardano. I mean, that's like obscene amounts of money.
And Catalyst, because it's in ADA. So as the value of ADA goes up, there's more funds to fund proposals.
Over $250 million. And so that is a milestone for the ecosystem. And also it's a psychological target, which makes it, in these markets, difficult for it to fall below that. So it has a lot of resistance around that price. It'll go up and down. But I feel confident that that security is a bit more durable and people take you more seriously. You get more attention, which you can then leverage for partnerships and for migrations and other such things. And so it is a validator from that respect. I'll give them that. But I tend not to look at it and I say, if that's the reason you're here, there are other projects like Tron that's what they do for you. Go play with those
Yeah.
guys.